Bala, whiz down from Bala was probably the nicest cycling day. I ended up in a race with the chain gang, the local chain gang at one stage. So the cycling club was out and they chased me up a hill. But you can't, you've got that many miles in, you've got to give it a go, haven't you? Even though it was a bit early in the day to be putting that level of effort in. I didn't want to let the side down by being overtaken. Then it was up and down. It was an up and down day, but beautiful. It was a day for getting sort of sensible pace and sticking to it really. Andy Murray won Wimbledon. I managed to follow that as we were going through Hereford. Between traffic lights I'd stop and stick my head in the car window, listen to a bit of commentary, and then the lights would go green and we whiz off again. Monmouth, everyone was horrendously lost because the road quite obviously went straight through but didn't. And I was then sort of head down off to the Wye Valley, somewhere that I'd never been before, never ridden a bike, and again it was just a lovely way to spend the sort of late afternoon on what had already been a fantastic cycling day down through Tintern and places like that, and also knowing that we're getting pretty close to the bridge, and so we all regrouped just on the near side of the bridge, and from there I went across and never cycled across the Severn Bridge before. Stopped and took a few photographs of the bike and that on the way over, and was literally just the other side of the bridge was the stopping off point for the day. But I do remember that as being a reasonably sensible finishing time at the end of the day. So it was a cracking day, just beautiful.
Nice bike path over the bridge, but the one I think for the services isn't really a bike path. It's a bit overgrown.
It kind of peters out.
It did. There's a great bramble across to start with, and then there were these steps in it. That was a day. Another really fine day.
Started off in the dark, again, barely, only barely dark, but still dark. Ran through Avonmouth. The thing I remember most about that was just how considerate the lorries were. And I actually found that the whole ride through Bristol was relatively bike friendly really. Signage was fine, and everyone gave a lot of space. We went over the Clifton Suspension Bridge. We'd arranged beforehand for me to get filmed going across there. Bolted on the camera to get some good footage on the way across, only to find out once I'd done the traverse that the camera had drooped, and all we had was footage of the road surface all the way across. So I didn't realise that till later, otherwise doubtless I'd have been back there having another couple of cracks at that in each direction until we got it right. I disappeared off around the back of the Quantox, and we kind of agreed to meet up on Exmoor, which is great because it for me that's kind of getting close to home turf. So then we whizzed off from there, and actually the pace was, considering it's tough old terrain, it goes to show how steep it must have been hitherto, because it actually didn't feel too bad going across to Simsbath. We did a lovely climb, and then regular climb out of Simsbath. But we had a lovely ride down into Barnstable on a slightly more direct route that we'd chosen through the lanes. From then, the rest of that day was just a question of making as much ground as possible along the Atlantic Highway. We ended up keeping going that day until we got to Wadebridge, where we decided it was about time to stop, so we stopped and found ourselves some accommodation there. Looking back on it, it was quite a long day. When I say, we set off from Bristol and we ended up in Wadebridge, people can say, well, that was a long day, but it was broken up with a few nice stops along the way. way through the process, we'd always figured that arriving in Land's End by bike along that sort of main way in wasn't the prettiest way to finish what was going to be a lovely trip. So we thought we'd give him that section from Cape Cornwall through to Sennen Cove, and then we'd regroup in Sennen Cove to do the last bit. And then we wandered down and regrouped on the seafront at Sennen Cove and wandered our way very gently, actually, over to Land's End itself. It's a beautiful walk over there, anyway, and much the nicer way to arrive. And as we were wandering across there, we could see crowds of people gathering on the headland, which we presumed was for us, until we got there and realised it absolutely wasn't. It was just a coach party who were visiting Land's End. But it was nice to imagine on the way across that there was this huge welcoming committee for us. I reckon you can't go much further than that flag.
That flag's got to be it, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon. Find out when you get to the flag. I reckon. So that must be it, don't you think? That. Don't you think? I reckon that's the finish. It's close enough to Land's End for me, anyway. Yeah. We reckon.
Counts as Land's End.
Well, I reckon.
I reckon it's close enough. We touch
the
that.
flag.
All right.
Yeah. Short of jumping off the end. So we got there and we had a couple of photographs, and John fell over, decided that he hadn't quite reached Land's End, so he climbed over the safety tape in search of the end of Land's End.
We do go down there a lot, but it just sort of felt like a normal holiday walk from Sennen Cove to Land's End. It didn't sort of feel like anything much really. It was kind of same as it normally is. There wasn't sort of any major sense of achievement. I think we got chatting to a few people actually at Land's End, and they were sort of asking where we'd come from and what we'd done, and it's only then that it kind of dawns on you that I suppose you kind of achieved something, but it felt like I was just on holiday, to be honest, by the time we got down there.